we're going. Okay, so there's a advanced mode. We're going to do a quick little tutorial on some tips and tricks with regards to the 3D moon phase mode that is available. So I'm burning away right now, the first one. Okay, so in the contain area, because I'm doing a timing thing and checking out the wicks and whatnot, this is my mode already made, candle's done. Okay, so it is, you can't really see that, eh? You're gonna take my word on this. It has started leaking out the side and going straight down. Okay, so I'm gonna spill more of it, that's okay. So this is what we're getting here, a little right down that side here, right? This would happen because the wick, and I can't really tell, is no longer straight where you would think. So the number one thing you need to keep in mind is make sure you can find a way to make the wick extra taut when you do it. If you don't undo the mold properly and you try to pull it out, you will crack your candle. You will break your candle right in half, literally. So I don't know if you can see the line here. So right across here, all the way around, all the way around. I don't think you can see any of it. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Get all my fingers. So right across, you see the line? Okay, all the way around, all the way around. So I melted it back together in a way, right? So the wick is broken there, so at that point it's just gonna go out anyways. When you pull your stuff down, you're unwrapping it. You're going to pull and keep trying to pull it like you're trying to turn it inside out. You're not going to keep rolling it. Just flip it once and just keep trying to tug. You're going to listen for like kind of like a clicking pop noise as each 3D image comes out of its like new concave area, all the moon phases in this case. Okay, so we already know that the best way to insert is to the bottom and then pull it through. Okay, once you got the string through, you want to tie a knot at what appears to be the top. Right, it doesn't matter because you have a little excess. So I made extra excess for a reason here. You want to tie the knot. You're going to insert your metal piece if you can. If you don't have one, or say your kit came with these guys, right? And you're using spool because obviously this is a different size. It would not work anyways. So you need a spool or you need extra long wicks. You would then have the knot so it's tied on this side, right? So you slide your metal thing over top, from the top, which is, this is the bottom of the candle, by the way, from the top, and it's going to land onto the knot and not pass it. Give it a quick squeeze with your little pinchers, also known as the nose pliers. Once that part is completed, you adjust so that you know, like by pulling the string, you would adjust it so it looks nice and flush the best that you can. Right? So this right now is on taut because I can pull it down and it looks like any farther. The metal is flush at the top there. Right? So let's see if you can see that. So we'll light again. Okay. So the metal is right in there, right there. So I'm gonna pull it down to show you. Right? And then above it, you have two options. You can try to get that knot and then put it right there so you have a point. What I did is I fed it through the sticks of the hole. Right, I was going to use this originally, but I'm like, no, you know what? I have that idea. So I filled. I took the string, I stuck it through the hole in here. I then used this to dip into a candle that I'm testing right now, and I filled the hole while it was liquid. So I had a string pull taut against the metal, and then I just put some there in there. I then wrapped the string around the wood, and I did it again. I dabbed and I held it, but when I did it, I held it in place and it started seeing solidify. I slid that off, and then for fun, I dipped one more time and I just kind of let it drip on its own like that, which allowed it to seal. This, right? Now remember, it's a very thin layer of wax. I can easily just twist this right now and that's all when I'm done, right? And then I just cut it with my scissors when I'm done. The reason why this is done like this is because, well, now I have better control to line up on my two like edges here, right? Because it's the shape, right? So we line up perfectly, so that's centered, which allows me to look, and if I want to calculate completely, I can go like this. That's the center of those guys, and that's where the hole is, and this is already in the center. So now I know I'm 100% in the center, and it's nice and taut, so I won't have that happen again, where it has a bit of a, because there's a little bit of slack, cause a little bit of a curve, small, just enough curve that instead of staying controlled and the wax not dripping on the outside, it stays on the inside the whole time and just burns away. So once I, well, it's not once I get it, like until the whole thing burns, I'll keep looking over at it to see what's at. So I'm about to do the glow in the dark stage of checking things. I'm gonna take my little slit that I made in my thing myself and hide this right there and split it in so I put this nice and flat, not to worry about anything. Okay, so that's done. Stay on my table. That's ready. I filled my kettle up with all the pellets. Right. Probably gonna go with. Oh boy. That's a good question. What am I going to go with? I think I'll do the sky blue. I'll do a sky blue glow. So it's going to look white when it's done, but it's going to glow sky blue. Right? So I will heat up my element. The kettle that comes with it. If you use a proper pot, you do not need to go to max. You really don't need to go to max. You can like turn on 2 and it'll get there. The one I use to make my dragon blood, that one, the double stage version, takes forever, and I didn't even get to like 1.8. To be honest, I never got to 1 point. It melted. It got melted. I started up, stirring. Like for 4 or 5 minutes, I was like, you know what? This is like, I'm gonna pour this now. So I did. Result of that is I made a lot of dragon blood. I don't think I want to sell these like this at all. This is just to have. I have some on hand for certain candles I'm making for spell candles. I have made sure because I don't want to run out. I do have several made. Don't get me wrong, but those are special for something else. And I'll get to those later because I didn't have the Dragon Blood candles because I'm making my own and I'm making sure they're done right. So there's that. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm calculating modes, how much wax gets used, how much wax I poured in there, to my knowledge, what at the melting point, like once it's all melted, what's it really at, what's it really reading. So I know, okay, look, if I fill it up to, in this case, I think it was just over 400, about 450. So about 450, pushed it down. So it's not jam-packed, but it's still considered loose, right? It's not melted. So because of that, once it all melts down, I'll look in, I'll see, okay, what exactly am I at for 40 ounces and for milliliters, whatever. I'll write down a calculation. This is how much was got used. I will then pour into one of my molds. I will look at what am I at now. With that knowledge, I'll be able to say, okay, so I used this much. Then I'll pour into another mold from that much, subtract that much, basically calculating how much wax is technically used for each mold to break that down. Okay, so once that's all broken down, kind of laughing about that, it allows you better calculations on your thing. Now, when you're doing calculations, you take your base of what products you bought to manufacture with. Right now, as you grow your business, you become more easily able, I would say, to afford bulk. When you buy bulk or even wholesale, whatever, how you want to look at it, you're now saving money. So if this one bag came with the kit, with 1 kilogram, right, with kettle and everything, this was 2 kilograms. Okay, so this is just soy. This one's the beeswax. So this one cost me quite a bit more. So getting 2 kilograms of wax, saying is about $20. Okay, so let's say it's $20 for that, but I can get 5 for 40. I can get 10 for 50. So if I was able to invest $50, obviously my cost would be a lot cheaper. Right now, say $20 plus your taxes and all that. Best way to look at it is basically for 50 mils is 50 cents of melted wax, right? So you don't calculate your modes. You can calculate them as a fact that, yeah, it's like, you know, like, hey, they cost money. Yeah, and that's part of your profit when you get it. So you're paying back into your pocket, your overhead, your capital, whatever. You're paying back into that when you first start your business to cover the expenses of what your products cost to make, right? As a manufacturing tool, it's kind of like a write-off to save your receipts. So once you have those dealt with, you get your calculations, your base calculations, and then you know what to do. Like you make a chart, get your Excel going, or whatever you use, sheets, and you do your things. You use your product, your item, which product, how many are you making with, how much milliliters or quantity of material, include everything. So in this case, I'm using a string, right? Wick, cotton wick, which is not wax, not pre-wax. So I take the spool. Okay, well, if it's 200 feet, obviously I'm not making 1 inch candles, so I'm going to put my base in the calculation, knowing that it's going to be at least 3, or at least 6. 3 was fine. So my 3 would be like 0.028 something. So I now know that's basically it's 3 cents per 3 inches, right? So, or per 6 inches, per 6 inches. So if it's 3 cents per 6 inches, and I double it up for this one because it's obviously a lot more needed, then I'm going to put that as it's 6 cents. Right? So now you have your total cost without including the mold itself is going to be your wick plus your material used, right? If you're doing a mason jar, then you calculate that as well. So if you say you go to the dollar store, you get 3 of them. You got to calculate the taxes you pay too. So where I am is 13%. So you take a 13%, 13, 26, 39. So 39, so maybe 339 for 4. So now I got 339 divided by the 4, right? That is my base cost for my container that I'm using in this case, right? So my sheet will show for a quantity of 1 unit, meaning 1 finished product, costs this much. It's not including packaging. This is how much it costs. You're able to then calculate a decent, this will be how much I'm going to charge for this product. If this is going to cost me like $2.13 to make 1 complete mason jar candle, small one, right? I'm charged $4.99. Okay, so you have a $2 and whatever cents profit, to $2.87. If it's $2.87, you got to keep in mind you don't include the taxes on your profit because you have to pay that back to the government. Right? So you do have to write down what your profit is. You do have to write down what your cost of manufacturing for that is. And you do have to calculate and write down what the tax on your suggested retail price or your manufactured retail price is going to be. So SGRP, MRP, same thing. So with that being said, if you're making a bunch and you're trying to you're giving consignments or whatever, for those who don't know what that means, to basically hand over a bunch of your products to a company to sell for you, that they don't have to pay up front. They just got to provide information that it's paid for. So when you're doing all that stuff, basically you got to keep it all in mind. But you don't calculate the tax cost. You don't calculate the shipping cost. The shipping you would set on your store or your wherever you're selling it from. If you need to ship, that you would tell them either shipping's included. Now you have to include it in your price, or you tell them there's no shipping included. Shipping costs this much. You get that information out by contacting who you're going to use as your shipper. And it does not hurt to shop around to know that someone makes big orders. I want this, not this, not, or I want a case of that. I want a case of this, right? To understand how it works, how the weight goes, who has the better rates, so you can offer better things, right? That's why some stores will have it where if you purchase a certain amount, X amount of dollars, shipping's free, right? Some of the distributors out there that sell basically wholesale pricing to other people that have stores, they have it where it's shipping's $20. Shipping's just $20 for your thing. However, we'll take care of it if you spend $5,000, right? That's just one of my suppliers as an example. Other ones are if you spend $300, we'll give you free shipping. Don't worry about it, right? And then there's some people that say we will not do a shipping unless you spend this amount of money. But if you spend this amount of money, you're considered this kind of person. So either you're buying from a manufacturer or a distributor to distribute yourself, but you get distributor pricing. A distributor will still raise the price to another distributor because they're the ones with all the different collections. They got one hell of a deal themselves, and they're not in it to just give it away and not make money. So they will make some money, but they'll be reasonable. Like this suggested retail price is $100. Okay, we're going to sell at the wholesale price of $50 for people to sell. So they basically just double up whatever. Plus they have to pay all this other stuff, so they don't make quite 50%, but they can. And then there's the distributor where it's like, hey, look, this is it's going to cost you $20, but you got to buy like $5,000 worth of stuff to have these prices. So once you buy the $5,000 worth of stuff, the money shipping's included, or shipping's going to cost this much because you're a distributor. So you should know this. You're going to pay the extra fee of the shipping to be shipped to you because you're getting it at the lowest price you're going to get it because you're going through the manufacturer to get it. So if you're manufacturing your own stuff, that's great. You set your own prices, you're good, but make sure you don't have a loss at it, right? So if you're charging like $20 for like a certain item that's to be sold for $100, how much did it cost you to make that, including packaging? Right. Now, also including with the packaging, like how much is it for not only just the packaging of that one product, but for the case? How many come in a case? Right? Where are the price breaks actually happening? Is this something that you want to put as it's going to be like, well, it comes in like a set of like cases of 2? Does it come in cases of 6, 10, 20, 100? Like, what are you making to put in what? How big is that box going to be? Because you got to be reasonable with your weight, because the weight's going to get you no matter what for shipping, especially if it's air shipping, it's going to get you. If you are doing overseas shipping and you get the right connections that people want a lot of it, and you find that distributor on a different part of the world that will pay for a container, even better. Right? Things with paying for containers. Containers, they're not cheap. For shipping containers, like those are things like pull a cart or whatever. There's half containers, there's all kinds of containers. So you keep all that stuff in mind. All the calculations come in handy. So right now what I'm doing is I'm breaking down each product total cost per one unit without including the packaging or without including the casing. Right? What's the other word there? There's another word used for describing a skid worth. Right? So pallet. Right? So you have your individual pricing for a unit. Right? So give an example here. Here's a box of candles. Okay, they don't sell individuals. This is the individual, and there's 12 in here. Okay, so myself, what I'm doing is I'm breaking down how much wax goes into one candle, and then I would times it by 12, and now I put all that information. Then I'm going to calculate how much did it cost for me to have this designed and made. Right now, the design is a one-time fee. If you keep the same design, the box is a continuing revolving price. Right, so the box is X amount for this amount, and this is the minimum amount you have to order. So you now know, okay, so I need 1,000 of these. You're only charging me like say 20 cents, right? So therefore I need $200 to be able to order 1,000 boxes that have my print on it. Okay, so now you break that down. So if it's 200 for 1,000, you divide 1,000 into 200, and then you're going to come up with your price to know, add that now to what your marketing price was. If your profit, which obviously your profit price in that margin is not going to drop because you're now including this, in this case 20 cents, make your decision. Is it worth changing? If you had like a $4 profit happening on this $7 profit, on this $6, $7 item, that extra 20 cents, is it worth changing everything? Are you going to put this thing at like $7.20 now for sale? Right? If it was previously at like say $6.99, are you going to change that to $6.50? Are you going to overcharge? So these things all come into play, right? It's not a matter of greed, it's just a matter of business, right? Keep in mind having sales when you do your BOGOs, right? So a lot of people, they do a simple 50% of my cost. I'm going to double how much it costs to make this, and that doubles me my profit. That's how a lot of people do it, right? For a previous thing I would work on, it was almost a 400% markup, which I thought was ridiculous, right? Like I said, I can't do that. But if I didn't follow the SGRP, the suggested retail price, or the MRP, the manufacturer's retail price, and they find out, they can pull all of their items off the shelf, and they can sue you. So it's always good to follow the SGRP and MRP. You talk to the people in charge of sales and all that and see what gets said, but chances are they're going to be like, no, we're not going to bend over backwards for an individual. Now, if you have top sales or you're one of our number one like buyers to resell and stuff like that, then maybe we'll give you an exclusive deal, right? If you start turning into a franchise or whatever, like where you have more than one location, the moment you have more than one location, you are now distributing to more than one place. You know, you're both yours. You're a franchise now. So when you distribute, you now have distributing rights, which means distributing prices. But once again, to switch from a wholesale pricing to a distribution pricing, there's a huge difference in your minimum order quantity, your MOQ. So So being a wholesaler, some places might say, well, there's a minimum order of this as a wholesaler. Okay. Some places might not even have a minimum. They might just say, yeah, here are the prices. You provided me the paperwork to show that you are a retailer of some sort, that we can consider this. These are the prices. This is the price list. They don't change their thing. They're buying off a distributor to sell to wholesalers or sell to individuals, right? You want better pricing? You can ask them, well, who do you go through? Chances are they're not going to tell you. They don't want to lose your business. But that's when you just look at the packaging information, because most packages will tell you where it's manufactured in. Going back to this. This is manufactured by Rock Commerce, which is located in Wyoming. Okay. It's made in China, but if I want to get a better deal on these, I contact these actual people, Rock Commerce. Right? I'm saying, look, I don't want to buy just one box. Like, how much is a case? What kind of deal can I get on a case? Or what kind of deal can I get on a pallet? Or how many cases do I need to get even better pricing? Right? They might be like that. Like, look, a pallet carries 60 cases. Okay, that's quite expensive. If this was $1, it's 10, whatever. So this is $10. Say a case holds 12 boxes. Okay, so now we know the case is $120 as retailed. But you're buying a case, you might get a discount. So a case might only be $100. Okay, cool. One case is that. This pallet holds 60 cases. I don't have that kind of money. So if you don't have, say, $6,000 to pay for this pallet, where's the other price break? Either there is one, or there isn't. So they say, okay, tell you what, if you buy a case, we'll do it for 100. If you buy a dozen cases, we'll do it for 1,000, which is that's decent. You're at 12 and you're paying the price of 10, right? It might even be, if you buy 30 cases, if you take half a pallet, we half a pallet ourselves too. Take half a pallet, we'll do it for like whatever. I already lost my numbers here. So if it's 1,000 for 10, right? So it's 1,000 for 10, there's 30, we'll do it for 2,500. So you get another price break the moment you hit that half pallet, right? So which would mean the pallet, instead of being 6,000, is going to be at least 5,000. Or they might be, but tell you what, buy a pallet for an additional 1,500, you just get a pallet, 4,000. $4,000 for a pallet. Why is this important? They already calculated how much it costs them and what they're doing. Now, when you take the 4,000, right, you take your 60 cases, you times that by 12 per case, okay? 60 times 12, oh boy, fuck. 120, 120, oh my God, I don't even want to think right now about that kind of number. Either way, they've already taken into consideration, this is how much a pallet costs us, plus the cost of the actual pallet, right? So they take it, because you're not going to send a pallet back. So they've already taken into consideration that, hey, if someone's going to buy a pallet, that's how much it's going to cost. So when you break it all down, each unit probably only cost them like maybe $1. So if 12 winners, that's $12 for each case, but they're charging you 100. They're laughing. Their cost is like pretty much like 10%. Right there, they're telling you they only pay 10% per unit, or it costs them 10%. So when they start turning around and selling it, so if I charge this to be $10 for this unit, they only cost me like, $1 and change to make it in the first place. Now, how do they get to that point to charge only $1 thing? Well, we already know that the wax costs this, the wax costs that, blah, blah. If you're a manufacturer and you're doing so successful that you're known and you have big ass orders going around like that, chances are you've already upgraded to the best known suppliers that you can, and you have access to great pricing. So your wax, as an example, right? $25 for 2 kilograms. Like that's great for, people are just trying to make a couple candles or something. But you're consistently needing more and more. I don't need that. I need like 5 or 6 pallets to show up in the first place. Okay, well, each pallet's going to have 1,000 kilograms on it, or 100 kilograms, we'll say. 300-pound pallets. Okay, I need 5 of them. Okay, so now you're going to find a wax manufacturer. Now, how do you eliminate having to do that, having to pay that? Well, depends how much of an entrepreneur you are and what you're willing to do. So my thing I want to work with more is beeswax, but then you have vegans that have problems. So soy wax comes in handy for the vegans, so does coconut wax. Beeswax is great because this is how you can save money, even though it costs more. You invest. So you flip a couple of your little products, small, start small, try to sell how you can, and take care of your overhead, your web page costs, and all that other stuff, your employees, if you have employees. You get started. Once you got to that point, set up a beehive colony in your vacuum. That's simple. So not only are you making your own beeswax now, you're making honey. Now you can sell honey on a side hustle too. Right? So your combination of these things allows you to you're becoming an entrepreneur. Right? You're going to set up a different name, whatever. Maybe they're just local sales you're doing, right? Or giveaways, whatever. Like, look, I'm just doing this for the wax. But because I need a lot of wax, and I can't stop making these things because I'm trying to run a nice known business. You're going to have people calling you and asking for just wax now. So are you going to interrupt your production, right? Your production line, or are you going to also offer now on your site? Hey, we also sell straight wax for do-it-yourself because you've got so much wax you can't keep up with doing your own product line. You don't want to get a warehouse and have everything transferred and hire all these employees and pay all these fees and rents and all that. It's a different story when you make millions off it yearly. But if you're not making the millions, then it's going to start costing you. So you want to start off small. It's a completely different story. Like say you own your house, you have a decent sized property, backyard, whatever. Great, build a garden. Very nice, beautiful garden area. build rose gardens and everything. Why am I suggesting that now? Oh, you got your bees. Bees want to pollinate. The bees want to pollinate your garden. So now, not only are you making wax for your business to sell and use, you're now making honey for your own personal use and to give away to neighbors or whatever, or sell locally to whatever the mom and pop stores that are not like big names or whatever. You might even actually get noticed by some big names that will say, hey, you know what? We want some of your honey to sell on our shelves. Great, right? Consignments, whatever the case is, you work it out with the legalities. But you have bees pollinating all these flowers. Might need a gardener as of this point or something like that to take care of them. Somebody's not allergic to bees, right? You get your beekeeping suit and everything. But the more important thing is when the season's almost done, you now have fresh cut flowers that you can just locally sell. When I was younger, I signed up as a job for students. So sometimes, like your Mother's Day, your Valentine's and all that, you see these kids that are a bunch of buckets of bouquets of flowers all available for sale. These are the set prices. Pricing of flowers, bouquet of flowers has gone up. It's like, what the hell? It used to be $5 or 3 for 10 or something like that. Now it's like $25 for one. It's like, what the hell? Well, that's the economy now, right? Everyone wants to have more minimum wage. This is the consequence. Everyone has to get their raise. So if you're making $20 an hour, not your minimum wage, and someone says, hey, I want $20 an hour to be minimum wage, great. You just made that person get about $40 an hour now because you want to keep raising it. They have to raise their value. It starts getting costly. When you're a business owner and you're paying employees, you have to pay into all kinds of stuff. So when an employee is making their minimum wage, say let's keep numbers completely low instead of what they're at now. Second person, I don't even know if it's at $17 or $15 an hour from them, but let's say it's $10 an hour. Okay, that employee, your employer, has to deduct your taxes off of them. They also have to pay taxes for you. So they're paying your taxes that they're deducting, plus they have to pay additional taxes on top of the WSIB in our case, right? So your workman safety board gets paid into as well. So if anything happens to you, you can go get WSIB and you're still making money, right? If you don't contribute to WSIB and something happens to you, you ain't getting nothing. So you're kind of SOL, right? So you want to be in that position. So the employer has to pay for that too, right? Depending how much money you're making, they have to put in roughly about half of that. So if you're making that $10 an hour, so they're having to pay your tax plus additional tax, plus your WSIB, plus your CPP, plus what's the other thing? Just the whole payroll process. That's why there's human resources and stuff, like your HR departments when you have companies, right? So they take care of everything they need to take care of. They do all the calculations. So as an employee making $10 an hour, the employer is putting out of his pocket anywhere from $17 to $25 an hour for you. So when you go to a temp service, and it's like, okay, so everyone's getting $10 an hour minimum. I'm making $14 an hour here. No, the temp service wants to make money. They're getting paid your $24 an hour. They're getting paid the max payment that these guys are willing to pay, but they're taking care of all the paperwork. They're the ones doing everything. They're the ones issuing you the check, right? And that's including taking away a small percentage for their kind of like a finder fee, right? Like they hired you, so you're paying them to keep you employed from your paycheck. So they're taking their cut pretty much because they're getting the whole amount. And this is the part that sucks. If you could have been making potentially through that company, if you were working for the direct company, not through the temp service, you'd be making at max $24 an hour, right? That max $24 an hour is costing the company more. It's costing them nearly $50 now to have you. So to have a middleman say, yeah, here, you're never going to get a raise, ever. You can be there 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and you're not going to get a raise to that temp service, ever. Because they are taking care of everything, and that's the contract they have. This is how much you're going to get paid. They're going to take care of everything. You're going to get paid as if you're worth more because you're doing like the type of work you're doing. But that is the max, no matter what. So temp services are great when you're trying to find a job. If a placement that you have is, like they really, really like your ethics. They really like how you work, and they don't want to lose you. And they just like you're so lovable to them, or whatever the case is. There are the rare times you will be hired on through the actual company and no longer have to work for the temp service, which is great. Right? It definitely can be, especially if you love where you're working. Right? So it's kind of balances itself out. It's like a win-win for everybody, except for the temp service. But at the same time, the temp service is fine because it's not like they're losing the contract with the company. They just lost one of their employees, which is the temp service. It's temporary work. Some people just stay on it longer. So keep all that stuff in mind, right? It's not wise to constantly ask for raises, for your minimum wage to go up, because the more you do that, the more expensive it is to live. And that's why we're having a huge poverty problem and everything in the first place right now. So volunteering sucks, but morally it doesn't, depends what you're volunteering for. So like say in this case, I live in a happy-go-lucky situation right now. I own my house. I have my everything. I have a huge backyard. I have my bees. I have my gardens. My kids live with me. Get my kids to help. This is how you guys are going to make an allowance. But not only am I going to give you an allowance, I'm going to treat you guys like employees. So you're going to get your allowance as your pay, pretty much. But I'm also putting money away in a trust fund for you, because I want to make sure that when it's time for college, you make the right decision. Here you go. You turn 18. This trust is yours. This has always been accumulating interest and everything. Government stepping in, helping out, paying towards things too. So this was done because everything was set up to be like this, right? I'm not in that situation. I'm stuck where I'm stuck, and it's a rented place. It's not owned by the people that live here. They are renting. And so it's like, okay, that's fine. So I can't do much here that I would like to do. Plus, the backyard's not even close to what I wanted. Could I put a bee thing in the backyard? Possibly. I probably could. Might piss off, other people, especially other people around here. Now, if other people around here understand the difference between bees and hornets and wasps, and even honeybees, so you got your bumblebee, you have your honeybee. Those guys they're actually safe. They don't want to sting you, because if they sting you, they're going to fly away, and that stinger's going to be left behind, ripping out their intestines. They don't want that, right? They only do that if they think they're damaged. Wasps are assholes. Those are the ones you want to watch out for. So when you see a wasp nest, absolutely find a way to knock it off, get the fuck out of there, or spray it and kill them. The point is, kill them. They will sting you because they just want to sting you. They attack bees, right? So, ever seen a bee movie? Well, we'll see it. You'll see what I mean. So anyways, the reason why I'm telling you about the bees is because to save money, you need money to make money, which is true, because it's not cheap. It's not free to build a hive. There are steps you want to take, and there are things you got to take care of to make sure you do, and then you have to get a queen bee. And just having the queen bee alone, it sounds like the bees detect it and they start coming out of nowhere, right? So if you're going to do this, make sure you do a tutorial before or watch like a tutorial before you just jump into it. See the cost, see everything. Like there's places that you can get nice looking hives, like very nice looking, hives that allow you to pull your slats out safely. They can get you your bee workers costume thing, uniform, masks and all that. Your smoker to keep them all tame and all that. But I don't think I would want to get the smoker part. I wouldn't want to do that with my bees. I would want to show them, like, guys are okay. Look, I'm going to give you back everything. I'm not going to clean it completely every time I take it out to take some honey. Right? There's some that have like little valves that allow the honey to fall right out. There's other ones that just allow the honey to collect in a different spot that's safer to take out. And then the wax is a completely different thing. So you have your wax and you have your honey, but at the same time, they're sort of made in the same area. So it's you learn the tricks of the trade, right? You want more wax, you want more honey. It's kind of like, say, I just want to do this for the wax. Okay, well, the honey's going to come anyways, right? Are my bees going to thrive? If they have purpose to, they need to pollinate. They need to be able to go out and do things. Like, sure, you can have trees around and stuff like that, but who cares about pollinating the tree? Flowers pollinate. Those are what you need, is get those flowers. So now you want high pollinated flowers. So you would look into the research. What are the best flowers? What do bees like the most to check out? I don't know, sunflowers is a good start, right? They like things that are bright and yellow. Roses, they sell very nicely. Sunflowers sell okay, especially if sunflowers, if you get the right kind and you take care of them. Myself, I grew sunflowers in 1 year, and the heads were like this, and I was like, this is awesome. The seeds that you can get from the sunflowers, okay, well, resell your seeds, eat your seeds, roast them, whatever, give them away. Doesn't matter. You just made all these things. Because you have bees, you have flowers, and then those flowers can be sold, and then you have sunflowers that can be sold, and then you have flowers that produce seeds that you can sell. Right? This all comes because all you want to do is make money selling candles. And you have your own custom design, you have your own thoughts, you have your own line of something you want to do. Right? In my case, I'm doing magic because I'm good at magic. Right? So I'm making things that are very potent, hence the dragonblood. I'm going all out with what I'm doing. I have sealers, right? Little sealing things. So each package, I seal each candle individually. I will stamp to make sure that it is done. Not the candle itself, but maybe on some of them. So even the bottom, like just go somewhere else. You know, it's authentically coming from me. Right? I'm going to have candles that are unbelievable, and I will be sharing that information as the products come out. Right now, I'm in a testing stage. I bought a lot of stuff to do product manufacturing as well as testing. When I say testing, is calculations. I'm doing my calculations right now based on the best pricing I could find and afford to start. Right, so maybe about $500 has been invested, just over, I guess, and I will be investing more as I get more money. I'm almost out of the one wax that came with the one set. I have a whole bag of beeswax still, and I already know on Amazon I can get 10 kilograms or even 10 pounds, whatever. I can get a lot more wax for double what I paid for what little wax I got. Right, not the ones that come with kits, and that's the thing, because I have partners. I need to give them their own kits so they can do their own work at their own pace until I get my next thing, which I will be ordering soon, the Donatella. My Donatella, what's the Donatella? It's imagine a cauldron, a big ass pot. I just like a slow cooker, like a crock pot, that has a outdoor faucet looking hose attachment thing to fill your shit. And it's got like a grill style temperature gauge on it. You just turn the knob to turn on. Instead of going like 0 to 5, like this one sort of does, that came with this set, it has your temperature reader telling you like that you're setting to this. So it's going to go to this temperature. Cool. Doesn't stop me from using a thermometer to make sure everything stays accurate, and constantly using a thermometer and replacing the thermometer if I don't like how the instrument's working for me. So like there's all these things to take into consideration. Doing good, I guess. Which moon did I just go by? See, that's how much my things just burned down, right? So that's that. Another reason why I'm doing this with candles. Oh, did a line? I'm just about hitting the line where it broke. That's good. What time is it now? 4. So I like these at 1. So for 3 hours, these candles have been burning. My very filled mason jar one has done this, right? So they were both at the same time, like 1 o'clock, right? It's actually 10 after 1. I can already tell that your standard candles, tea light candles, little cup ones, right? They go for about 4 hours, 2 hours to 4 hours when you burn them. So when you got your 2 hours to 4 hour candle burn, there are 2 different ways to look at this. You can stack a bunch of these cups right on top of each other if it's the same size roundness, right? So like say my triple thing, I already know if I were to stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So I can safely say as of right now that this candle should technically burn for, if it's 4 hours for a tea light, 24 hours. It should technically. Now, if some tea lights, they don't go for full 4 hours. It depends what kind of wax you're using. It's part of the testing. So considering that it's been 3 hours now, it's about 3.5 hours since I lit these. That candle is now on that moon, which that moon is these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, then a fifth. So there's 4. So that's 1, 2. I'm just about down 2 moons, as I'm saying it, because there's a bunch of moons on it. I'm down 2 types of moons. I'm about to hit the crack. I gotta keep checking, because once it hits that where the candle broke from me trying to pull it out without unwrapping all the way, it's probably going to be relit, or it might actually light the other lit, because all I did was snap nice and clean. So there's a good chance when it gets to that, it might set the other wick on fire. That'd be pretty cool. I don't have to do it, but that'll be pretty cool. If it does, I know it's just a matter of if it breaks when you're doing this, just melt it back together. Just a little bit of warmth underneath. Make sure you line up perfectly. Once it's lined up, then you're going to want to try to smooth off where that thing is, and with high hopes that whoever purchases that doesn't see that it was broken, right? So it could be a gift it to a friend thing instead, and that way give them a heads up, right? Be honest with them, like, yeah, this one broke, but it should be fine. If you have any issues, just let me know. But yeah, whatever. I guess at this point, it might go, might not go. It doesn't hurt a lot. It doesn't hurt to tell the truth. I mean, you give someone something, then all of a sudden, like, they realize it's something, well, maybe something's broken. Then that could be more of a problem. So keep that in mind. As for these guys, this candle, where you see the wax right now, it has dropped maybe 1/4 of an inch for the top of the liquid. So it was almost at this line of the screw, the part that with the cork, I don't call it the corkscrew, where it will grip onto the lid. So it was basically up that high when I let it. It's only gone down like about 1/4 of an inch. It only has that much showing. We did the sticker method to the bottom, didn't we? Yes, we did. So I already know it's dead center in the bottom. I already know I pulled it nice and taut at the very top, right? Mason, and after I lit it, so I did this one differently. So instead of doing it while I was melting the wax in the first place to pour in here and adding a scent, when I lit it and it started turning into a bit of a liquid, I did drop a couple of these guys in. And the reason why I did that, I was just curious to know how long is that scent going to last, knowing that it's only kind of mixed in one little bit. Right away, the smell's gone, right? Like, there's a very faint smell of it now. So when you are making scented candles, make sure you do it properly by adding a good amount to your elements while it's at its melted point. And then you take it off that heat immediately. Yesterday, the one kettle we took off once it hit the 182 instead of 185. And we left the thermometer in there. Not only did it take a while to cool down, because we're room temperature or whatever, it climbed a little bit still afterwards too. So it's like, okay, I think I'm gonna end up getting another better thermometer than this one, because when I did my other video, when I first did the unveiling box thing, as a joke, I stuck it under my tongue. Don't ever do that. And then when I took it out, like 3 seconds later, I watched it climb. Like it was at 118 something, then it was at 121. And I think it climbed to like 26 or something. I can't remember. But when I took it out, so I rated it better. It's like 21.1, 22, 28, 26.1 was my final thing, but it wasn't in my mouth anymore. That was just reading in the air. So it was like, okay. So this is not a quick, accurate reading. There's like a bit of a delay in this one, right? But once again, you sort of get what you pay for. The kit that I grabbed, I got one that's like $80, $90, and it comes with all kinds of shit, but it's the exact same set. So it's just it's more of a super set. Okay, so I now know that even though I paid $46 for this set, that came with some wax, came with some wicks, the stickers, your kettle, as well as your heating element and your stabilizers. So I know that this $46 set is great for starting off, right, for beginners, but I would still buy a secondary thermometer that has more of an accurate reading. Right? It's a lot better, it's a lot quicker. I just want to see something here. Okay, it's got a measuring range that tells you it has memory of last measure. That's pretty cool. Low battery sensor and display. 10-minute auto shutdown for power saving. That's cool. And then it's Celsius Fahrenheit. So there's nothing in here that says fast, accurate reading. Nothing. So that's what we look into. So even though I see these candles going anywhere from like $7.99 to like $14.99, $15.99, and the ones that are like, like $30, $40, probably the kind I want to eventually invest into, because it's like, hey, this is probably accurate, right? Accuracy means like when I take this out of here, they shouldn't still be getting like climbing. They should now either stop moving and start declining, or along those lines. So anyways, I'll keep you posted what the next step is. I'm hitting that line right now, and if I had to guess, what I think is going to happen is once it gets that little puddle that happens with your candles, right? Once it gets to that point and the next wick's starting to be exposed, because there's no base to the top of the wick now, it's most likely just going to go fall over and put itself out. So if I start smelling like a candle that is blown out, I know for a fact that's exactly what just happened. I'll probably see the thing. That's also why I'm keeping it in the one kettle, the cheapest kettle that I got for the sets, because I need the other one. I like that one better. It has the measuring inside. So yeah, it's like that. It's already turning sideways. So literally, where I know the line is, the wick is now sideways. So I don't know if I can actually show this. Try like this. Okay. So can you see that? How it went sideways? So I could probably like flick this right on this side here, and it'll just knock that little piece off, because the line is literally right here, right there. And as you can tell on this side, it's already gone past the line. So it's a matter of what's going to happen. So I'm going to actually speed this up instead of the camera on. I can see the frayed part of the wick, right? And there it goes, just like I called it. So it's like I knew it was going to. The other wick is revealing right there, just a very small amount. So we're going to take this, and voila. So I just lit the next wick. It was originally the one, right? I know it doesn't look like it's lit, but it really is. So hopefully it is going to be nice and controlled all the way back down still. I will end up making more blue with this. This is a pale blue moon color, right? I thought it was just, or this is moon blue, I should say. So my moon's being filled on one, right? But if I turn it around, the other side still looks great, right? When these are released, what will happen is these specific candles, they'll have a instruction. All my candles will have instructions in regards to what to do for spell making. Like, some of them will have their own purpose for specific spells, and then all you have to do is follow the instructions. They're already charged with the energy to do so. It's now onto the user to understand, for these to work, you have to A, believe in magic, B, never ever doubt yourself in what you're doing, and if you follow the instructions, because the instructions are key to completing the whole spell. If you follow your instructions, as they're said, be good. Now, with this being one of these kind of candles, there might be several different ways. There's going to be several different colors. There's going to be glow and dark versions of it as well. But the most important thing is following instructions. So most likely, with it being the different moon phases, from a full moon to a full moon. So you're waxing, you're wanting, your halves, and your new. Like the new would be in the middle. It's probably one of those, as each moon phase passes. This is one type of spell. As each moon phase passes, like burns down, snuff it, meaning put out your candle. The next time you follow the moon phase and it goes to the next moon, you continue the spell. You light it that day, and you allow it to burn for that moon. And now when I say that phase, okay, like I said, burn this one for about 3 hours now. It's all the way down that far. With it being down all the way that far past, I'm almost at the halfway moon. So there's nine moon phases in total that are revealed. So it'll be like there's 9 times you're gonna light your candle. And if I'm at the halfway mark right now, that would be 4 phases completely done. Well, technically 3 phases are completely done. We're on the 4th right now. So it's less than an hour, meaning you have to, for an hour, focus on your intention for the purpose of the candle or for the purpose of the spell to work, right? Once again, these will all be labeled in the instructions. They are all going to be considered very powerful. This specific one is not charged in any way, no energy put into it, no nothing. So Dragon Blood, on the other hand, I had put a lot of my energy into it, a lot of work into it, to make it very potent for whatever's about to happen. So whenever I use it for it, when we go to my say whatever's about to happen, because each one's going to be used differently. The Dragon Blood, there's going to be a lot of Dragon Blood options, and different spells available with them. So when it gets manufactured into which specific product it's going to go into, that's going to be a different story. Now that's when I take the energy again, that's rebuilt, and I focus all my energy on making sure that this is the purpose of this candle. This is what it's going to be used for. And I don't look at it for myself. I look at it towards, this is like, may this bless, may this help whoever burns it to be able to basically complete their desired spell or wish or whatever the case is. I can't get too much information. I can't explain too much as of this point until the products are out and for sale. Then I will reveal more about stuff like this. But right now, well, I will not. Everything's pretty much, sorry, you just got enough information from me now for the previous how to, and now this kind of insight. It kind of narrows down like, okay, so you're doing the spell stuff. Yeah, as I mentioned last time, I'm breaking down into, like, you see one of the products we have. I can tell you other products that I can be doing. The mason jars, probably not going to be doing the mason jars, but at the same time, because I was doing it to give a tutorial to someone, I figured these would be best, and then you can take them home and burn mine afterwards, but this is for you to learn basics of how to pour candles, not to make the spell candles. So everything's on track for the way it should be. Or it should be farther ahead, but at the same time, no, you can't rush things, right? So even though the last video was, to me, it was hilarious because you don't rush things. Well, you also don't want to sit there and watch a 2-hour video, so I put it at 1.3 speed, and it was just fucking hilarious to watch. There were some parts that, like, just the speed, make it even smaller, I'd speed up to 2 times the speed, and it was just hilarious to watch afterwards. So, anyways, that's the next update as to what's going on. Everybody take care, stay safe, and if you have any questions, like I said before, feel free to ask. There's some things I cannot talk about yet, or whatever. If you're a potential, like, if you're interested in buying candles or whatever, that are what we're going to be specializing in, feel free to reach out. If you are a shop that sells candles and you would love to have some of the product lines in there, feel free to reach out. If you happen to be an investor, angel investor, and you kind of want, like, hey, I wouldn't mind getting involved, like, investing in trying to make a profit out of it, like, absolutely. We could use help, capital, and overhead in regards to the next set of costs, which is going to be the packaging. Like in most packaging, they offer, hey, free design, whatever. That's fine. I have the one design being worked on. It's already been changed three times now, and I look forward to the complete thing that just speaks perfect for us, because then I'm going to be getting a custom-made sealer for that, for us to seal our products with. This one that I was using is actually, I like it. It makes sense for the name and whatnot, but it's very, I don't want to say commercialized, but like you see someone with a tattoo that was similar is one thing. It's a symbolization, so of course it makes sense to see it. But when you're buying something that's already pre-manufactured, how many other people have it? How many other people are using it? We're not trying to copy someone else. This was just something cool, something you use. Great. Okay, well, I understand that concept, but we want to go one step further. So we will have ours custom made. And then basically every single one of these guys, I'll get a couple versions of it made, not versions, but a couple copies of it made, so that each manufacturing partner that I have will, while they're doing their thing, they'll be showing how to use it as well as where to use it when we're sealing whichever product that they're working on, so that it's consistent and authentic, Ishan. So we will not be, we're not going to be doing like the whole, hey, this machine does it all for us. Like, like we just come and then we have this person who's employed and their job is just to clean this up and do this, clean this up, do this. That's not what we're doing, right? The Donatello I'm getting, like I said, it's a huge thing. It's for major home candle making people, or even it's almost going into the commercialized industrial style. So the goal is to eventually get one for each person who manufactures through us, right? For our stuff, and for it to work and all that. Let's just say that the only way that you're going to actually be involved with the spell making stuff is you have to have your knowledge. You have to know that what you're doing without being taught. You have to have the natural ability, and it's not so much prove to us, but you gotta be able to prove that you have the right mindset and the right, I want to say bloodline, but not necessarily. You have the right spirit within you to do such. I'm not going to hire someone who's going to make candles. Like, that's good for you. It's not that hard to make candles. It's very easy to make candles. Like, anyone can make a candle. But can you charge a candle with energy? That's the key, is knowing what you're doing. You know how to keep a positive state of mind and stay on track and stay focused on something. You know how to, do you know how to understand the concept of chanting when you're charging, right? It can be draining, and you can have no distractions. So basically, it's one of those things that when you're at work, like manufacturing, there's no phone. You can't have your phone, right? You can play music if you need to, sure, I guess, but what kind of music are you listening to? Is that actually going to help you and help what you're doing? Are you creating the right atmosphere? Small things like that. It's different when it's something that's like, there's no words, whatever. It's the music's providing energy and allows you to stay focused. That's different story. Like, it's not classical music, but whatever. Like, it could be Norse music, Wiccan music, pagan music, and be like all kinds of music, but just not like, like rock or rap or like pop or anything like that. Like, we're not trying to sing long songs that's working away. We're not the three fucking seven dwarves or anything like that. So, anywho, that's all I want to share for now. I'll get back to watching. No, I'm not watching. I'm watching something Afterlife. I'm watching Afterlife. So I'll get back to watching that while I'm watching these guys burn away at the same time. Go grab a quick coffee and something to eat, and then I'm going to also be working on this at the same time that I'm doing as I'm watching, which is smelting my next set and take my calculations. One love. Yes, I want to stop. Don't you hate it when you hit stop and it's like, are you sure you want to stop recording? No, I fucking felt like clicking the button because I just wanted to see what would happen.